What's good, everybody? You know what time it is? It is time for Elevated Vibes right here on IntellectualRadio.com, our iHeart radio station. Now, if you want to join this conversation, hit us up either on Facebook Live or the number is 708-223-8953. Once again, that is 708-223-8953. I am your boy Abdul Rashid, along with Mr. Tim Evans.
Hey, how's everybody doing out there?
And y'all boy, the boss man, will be around shortly. Real shortly, y'all. All right, folks. I want to take y'all back into a thought that we all have done. All right. You see somebody on the block or a distant family member or whatever, they come up with something brand new, name brand, all that, right? And you usually do one to two things. Not everybody, but a good number of us have. All right. We go the phony route. And, we jump in being all buddy just so that we can experience whatever it may be, that brand new name brand thing. Or we throw that hate. I wonder what they did to go get that. That, my people, is something that we have to work on stopping to try to in that type of way, that type of situation. You know what I'm saying? Because it always drives to everything else. You know what I'm saying? All type of issues, you name it. All right. So today we are talking about the attempt to try to stop materialistic status symbols. That's right. I'm talking about things such as Cadillac, Fendi, DKNY, Louis Vuitton, all that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We don't need that hard. So real quick, what's your thoughts, Mr. Evans?
Well,
you know what? We're going to take a quick musical break and we'll be right with you. Hold that thought, bro. Welcome back, y'all. We are right back at it. We're talking about the attempt to stop to slow it down materialistic status symbols. And let me remind y'all could hit us up on Facebook Live or hit the number up 708-223-8953. Mr. Evans, you were going with a thought. Talk to me.
Yeah, so when it comes to having fashion, I think that it's kind of ingrained in human nature to be able to distinguish yourself from other people, to try to, gain attraction, also to, try to get your status out there as, are you successful? Are you not successful? And I think that's a lot of what is driving people's need to be like a fashionable person.
But see, the thing is, could you not be that brother that looked good in a $300 suit instead of that brother looking good in a $3,500 suit?
But I want to be careful.
Talk to me.
All right. It's expensive to be poor. Okay. So I was just reading this on And what up, y'all? Sorry, this is the boss man. Happy Wednesday. Happy post Juneteenth. So I think this topic is apropos. So let's contextualize this. People who have routinely been denied access to riches, the ability to make money, the ability to accumulate wealth, take these things as a substitution for wealth. All right. If you look at Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, to some extent, Jeff Bezos, they don't wear the accoutrements of their wealth. You can't separate them. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
but a lot of us do. We wear that, as you just said, accoutrements of your wealth. A lot of us do.
Well, here's the thing. I was looking, and they give the boot example. Let's say you work in a factory, you make $50 an hour, or I mean that's not real. And let's use an example. Let's say you make so you can, but let's say you make $15 an hour, right? Now you're looking at a pair of boots, right? Now you can get the pair of boots that may only cost $50, but they're not gonna last as long. All right, they're not gonna last as long. You can get the other pair of boots, but they $200, right? And they technically will last longer than the $50 boots, right? But you're only making $15 an hour.
Technically, at times you're right. Other times, those same boots that were $200, they could turn around and tear up a week later.
But traditionally, they don't. I'm talking about quantity versus quality.
Okay.
So we settle for the quantity because it makes us. It becomes a status symbol, right? And to some extent, we are judgmental. I don't know if I want the doctor who's going to operate on me showing up in a hoopty, a Ford Focus, and wearing, I don't know, Old Navy. I'm just giving an example. I'm not dishing Old Navy. We expect those of a certain caliber and status to look a certain kind of way, and when they don't, our spidey senses tingle, and we become less trusting. Now, should it matter what kind of car the doctor drives? No.
And that's what I was about to say. It should not. You're absolutely right. It should not.
But it does play a factor.
But here's the deal. That doctor that's in that Ford Focus may have that mind and those skills to handle what they can handle, while that other doctor that may drive in Mercedes, he could have been spoon-fed all his life. I'm not knocking any doctor, everybody out there, but I'm just saying he could be spoon-fed all his life.
But I think there are certain areas of our life where we expect a certain image. Your real estate broker, if you're selling your house, if you're a high-end, let's say you only sell, homes. Well, it's not unrealistic now, 500,000 and up. That's a starter home right now. But let's say you multi-millionaire, you sell multi-million-dollar properties, and they pulling up in a Datsun. Are you gonna be as confident with this person selling your home, your multi-million-dollar home, or getting you offers on a multi-million-dollar home, as opposed to the real estate agent who's pulling up in a Bugatti? And I don't know fashion like that. I'm not like that.
Again,
those we can't discredit, and I get what you're saying, but certain things require certain statuses, and when they don't meet that status, we have problems with that.
Yeah, but then also if they meet that status, and we may go with the wrong thing, we may go with the wrong individual. And again, I'm not knocking those who did what they did, got everything going on and looking good with it. But you also get those that come across this and totally are no good at what they do. If we're going to do at the thing with doctors and so real estate agents and so forth. Go ahead.
And another thing, sometimes you can run across trends, right?
Correct.
So when it comes to like fashion, I don't know if you all remember, they had a little trend going where people went to like secondhand stores to get their clothes.
Still do.
Right. but it was like a real, it was in music. It was all over the place, and those trends come and go. Right. Exactly. And that was just a style. And even if you bought new clothes, they would still have that same look to them, of used or damaged clothes.
I mean, I guess the way you have posted, are you saying that we should be at odds with these things? So
I think we should be more. We should not just look at what you just see right there on the surface.
But that's with anything,
and that's the problem. We have to look deeper within things such as these type of things. For example, especially back in the day, especially African American, a lot of us, we looked at that caddy and we loved the caddy. We loved it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wanted a lot. Yet you go back into the thought process of everything. Cadillac didn't want to sell to us at all.
I mean, that's the same thing with who was the first alcoholic spirit that Jay-Z came out with? Dom Perignon. Mm-hmm. And we found out, they weren't eager, that they were being catered to an urban market. And I get it. Where our dollar goes, there should be respect accorded. Right.
We need a more sight in, where it's going. You know what I'm saying?
But
instead of just running with that trend.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to say this, and I'm not that, people know me, I'm not that materialistic. And I will tell you, money isn't all that, but it's better to cry in the back of a Cadillac than on the back of a bicycle.
True.
Fair enough.
Money ain't important, but it's right up there with oxygen. All right. And for those who have, and have the ability to invest in the accoutrements of that wealth and the largesse, they should. I think the problem, what we're talking about, is the lack of income, or what we perceive as the lack of income, and
exactly
spending the money. Now, here's the thing. And it's one thing, like, I don't understand. I mean, I'm not a shoe person. Like, I don't understand, like, the Nike thing, the shoes and the retros and paying the money for all of that stuff. That's not my, cup of tea. Mm-hmm. But within our community, shoes are a status symbol. Gym shoes have become a status. At one point was dress shoes, and, wearing certain type of dress shoes has switched over to gym shoes, and I think if you work hard for your money, you should be able to buy what you want. Now, is it the smartest thing? No. You know what I'm saying? But if you are in a position where you're comfortable, you can afford it, and afford it is relative. Afford it is relative, So if you can afford it, why not?
Yeah. Okay. I get that. If you can afford it, why not? But if you couldn't afford it at that moment, but it's going to put you deeper in the hole, why are you doing it? And then
think people consciously do that? Like, you think,
well, a lot of times
I got to pay rent.
A lot of times though, you want all these certain type of things, and you, like you said, you got to pay rent and all that, but you want this so you could show and floss to everybody else, but then now you ain't eating for 2 weeks.
I don't think people make those kind of choices.
Unfortunately, there are some that have.
I mean, there are, but I think for the most part,
and then it's pushed by certain levels and things in media where it should not be pushed at that point. You understand what I'm saying? They push certain things that will go to the neighborhoods, that it could be a designer. Let's just say, give me a designer real quick.
Levi?
But
Tommy Hilfiger.
Okay, Hilfiger. It could be Hilfiger. All right. Now,
you can tell I don't shop, right? Like, are you like everybody's like, what is this brother doing? I don't look. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I don't shop like that.
But here's the thing, I could come across designers right now, people designing their own thing and so forth, that can possibly blow Hilfiger out the water.
In your opinion.
In my opinion, a few other folks.
But they don't carry the status symbol.
They can't get
Polo,
that. Right. But understand what I'm saying? They can't get out. They can't get out into the public as hard as these already established places, which is already in your neighborhood breaking you, while these other designers that's trying to come up do their thing, you can come out looking better, looking good for a cheaper price. And then you helping somebody you know.
Well, let me ask you this.
That maybe look just like you.
Hypothetically, back in the day when we first met, you was the player for the Himalayas.
I don't know.
Right. Deny. Right. There was no one before you. Keep
that quiet, bro.
But in this hypothetical,
come on, hypothetical.
All right, there's this beautiful woman that you like.
Okay.
You want to woo her.
Okay.
You this girl is walking daydream.
Now am I in the back of the day thought or today's thought?
Back in the day, I just want to see where your mind is at.
I'm
all right, and you want to take her out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and you want to impress her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you taking her to Twizzlers or are you taking her to Gibson's?
Of course, at that time with that mentality, back in the day,
right?
When we first met, which is how many years? 25, 26 years ago?
1998.
Okay. Back in the
99. It was 99.
Yep. Okay. Back in the day like that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm going to try to hustle and make that Gibson's thing with that mental, with that thought.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Not saying, hey, if that woman ain't going to be with me because I didn't take her to Gibson's, but we went somewhere and we ate good. Then if she ain't gonna be with me, I didn't take her to the Gibsons. Guess what? I didn't need her. You know what I'm saying?
I get that, but now let me take this a little bit further.
Come on.
If you had to choose between a Gibson steak and a Twizzler steak, who you choosing? Right now, ribeye.
Well, Twizzlers right now.
Over Gibson?
Yes, I would.
You smoking?
No, I'm not. Because I'm
smoking.
gonna tell you right now.
You are smoking.
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you exactly why. Because I can put my ends on other things that I know I'm gonna come up a few years from now on something bigger and better instead of this steak that was good. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
That was good.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
But
Mr. Tim, let the record reflect that this brother said, as of right now, he would choose Twizzlers. Okay,
you want me to take a picture of it?
We got him on tape.
You want me to take a picture of it?
Okay. Now, it's your anniversary with with your current paramour, who I know so well. And it's where you coming up? We're at 20, so you're a year ahead, so 23, 24 anniversary, all right? And she this the big one, right? She want to get dressed up, go out, kick it on the town, all right.
Now, do I got the ends to do it? Do I got the ends to do it?
Yeah. Okay, so now the choice is between Longhorn and Sullivan's. Where you going?
I got the ends, right?
I
got the ends.
But remember,
we
said affordable is relative to your position. Mm-hmm. Now, you might look at my finances and say, "Oh, that brother can't afford it," right? We don't know people's pockets and their predisposition for pain. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Tim could be perfectly fine taking his boo to SDK Steakhouse, right? But he know he gonna be eating ramen for the rest of the week. All right. Does that make his choice bad? Because he's comfortable with it. He like ramen. He put him some sriracha on it and some chicken broth. See, I'm giving away too much of my story, but he comfortable with it. So again, the brother said we'll play it back. He's going to Twizzlers. Yes. Now, based on the current scenario, Yamika's listening. I saw it.
We'll try to put
where we going for our anniversary? Double date.
Oh, what do you mean double date?
I mean, I'm coming with so we can celebrate. I just want to know, am I putting it on the debit card or am I putting it on the MasterCard? Inquiring minds want to know.
I guess you're gonna be
That
pulling
is
out your
interesting.
master. It is the anniversary.
Okay. So,
I'm just saying.
all right,
You're
so
gonna be
you-
pulling out your master.
all right, so you're not rejecting the status symbol. You are fully embracing what because of what it means. Correct, my brother? You want to take a quick musical break while we think about it?
No, bro.
You're not anti-capitalist, are you?
No, I'm
You're
not.
not anti-capitalist.
I'm not anti-capitalist.
I'm
I
just
will
okay.
work around things.
These
but-
these just questions from a
yeah,
a certain mind. Okay.
When you out dating, when you out first meeting somebody,
yeah.
the money that you flaunting around, it kind of says something about you. It says something about how much security they can have with you. You know what I mean?
But you can always play that role with that money. I mean,
But they don't know that. I mean,
yeah.
they don't know that immediately.
I mean, right. Well,
yeah, but then what happens when they see the truth?
Hey,
Now
gotta
what you
hang
gonna
in there
do?
as long-
Now what you
hang in
gonna
there as long
do?
as you
Well,
can.
I mean, right,
Yes.
right. Like,
I mean, we all can fake it till we make it to
Right.
a point.
but that's the whole
To a
thing. We
point.
can fake it till we make it. Now,
Right.
now are you faking it to the point where it's causing you economic harm? Sure, but what I guess I'm trying to caution against is
Mhm.
we're past kinds of ways. We're saying what you can or can't afford, which is just as bad as saying, and I have problems with that because this
But
whole
then on
thing,
the other end with everything with that, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but the other
you
thing
did.
with that, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. But the other thing is though, those the Sullivan Steakhouses and trying to think of it right now, but they get that marketing and promotion that they're good, they're great,
But
it
they
may-
are.
Well, no, it may be the other steakhouse that's coming up that none of us know about, and theirs is on point. And you can eat for the rest of the week after you get through eating it.
I get it, but there are certain things that when we go certain places, we know the product and that product. What I'm trying to caution us away from is like people who are on SNAP benefits. Okay, they can go to the store, but we have this mentality of, well, if you poor, you got to look the role. So what's wrong with the person who's receiving SNAP benefits going and buying a ribeye, or going and buying swordfish, that they treat themselves every now and then.
Right.
And what and the problem I have is sometimes when we're in the store and we see this person with the SNAP card or whatever, and you looking at what they buying, we pass a judgment because we're sitting there saying, "Oh, you poor, so you should eat poor. You ain't supposed to have nothing on your card but ramen noodle and chicken broth and vegetables." And so the problem I shouldn't say the problem. The challenge I have with our conversation is judgment is passed both ways. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just because of a person's economic status, that shouldn't determine what they can or shouldn't be in possession of. Yeah, is it possible that you are, working low to working income, but you bought these pair of Jordans, and let's say you don't wear the Jordans, right? They sit in your closet. They sat in your closet for 4 or 5 years, untouched in the box, right? You paid what, $200 for them, and now they are what, worth 800, 900? Was that a bad investment? And what I want to
At
get
that time, did you know you were making an investment, or was it just?
I think that sometimes, like we splurge on stuff with the fact that it will, grow and all three of us sitting here right now. Where would we be at if all three of us kept our Optimus Prime, Jetfire, Transformers, G.I. Joe, and the original package?
Hey, better off than now, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, I'll give that.
So if your parents splurged a little on Christmas to make you happy, and they went a little bit into debt, I don't think that's worthy of our judgment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be cautious because we're skating the line of this whole respectability politics. Like, because you're poor, you're supposed to have this, or because you're working class, you're supposed to have this, or because of your whatever, you are supposed to have this. Let's say, for instance, Tim, is living what was previously known as the Obla homes or Robert Taylor, right? And his uncle died and left him some money, and he left him I don't know, let's say 15, 20, all right? And Tim, the thing people are gonna say, oh, Tim should have took that money and moved out the hood. You know what I'm saying? But Tim went and bought him a Cadillac. And now he can get back and forth to work. Now he can run the task and the errands and stuff that he needs to do to make those decisions. But I don't know where he's at now. If he's just getting a Cadillac and it's just, for whatever, but if he's using his largesse, quote unquote, at the time to do something that will somehow have a more positive outcome down the line, who am I to judge Tim for doing that?
Well, I would have to say that I would be very disappointed in Tim for buying a Cadillac. I would buy a Honda Civic, and use that money to invest. Me, myself. But, everybody doesn't think the same way.
But do you fault him for buying the Cadillac?
Maybe.
But what happens if he's using it to get back and forth to work, to run errands, take care of his family? Let's say he has a family of 5, can't fit them in a Honda Civic, right?
Well, you can buy a lot of things less than a Cadillac.
But could not Tim be in a Chevy, a big body Chevy?
But we know Chevys don't last as long.
Well, hold on. No.
Sorry.
Hold
on. Let me take that back. Based on my colloquial experiences, I get what the analogy. We tend to believe that foreign cars last longer and hold up better.
Well, I mean,
than American cars.
The like is American car, but then yet,
but it's one of the ones that survived. Pontiac. I mean, not Pontiac. What was Buicks? You know what I'm saying? Those tend to be long lasting. Cadillacs tend to last long, more so than your.
Let's say Tim brought a Buick. Then, all right. Now, instead of that Cadillac, he brought a Buick.
But Buicks are just as expensive. You know what I'm saying? Buicks are still. I mean, they're definitely they ain't the entry models.
But as a Cadillac, because you go to Cadillac, you already stepping in the world of luxury. Even though people would keep that borderline, but
that's luxury that's gonna last.
Right.
That's luxury. And here's another thing.
Go ahead.
Which one's gonna hold this value longer? That Civic is a bad choice because Hondas just hold their value. But in our situation, doesn't the Cadillac hold value longer than some of the other cars that may have been available than the Chevy?
Yeah, you know what? I have no problem. I have no problem with somebody buying a Cadillac. I have no problem with it. But if they buy a Cadillac with all their money and they can't afford insurance for it, what's the purpose?
The parts, because you all know, the parts on the Caddy.
If having the status of having a Cadillac is that important, then I think it's something wrong there.
But
you know what I mean?
Are we saying that this person's sole basis for making this decision was the status it brings? It's like there was this girl I wanted to get with, but it was the Caddy I liked. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of times, that's what it is, man.
Do you think so?
A lot of times,
I think with younger people, I think as you move into adults,
as you get an adult, it changes some.
Correct.
It depends on the adult.
Well,
now we're going to say that,
right now,
but
so yes,
but still, you're going after it for that name. And sometimes, why you doing that? If that name gonna cost you an extra $5,000-$6,000, guess what? Hey,
well, what happened if it lasts just as long or longer because of that? We know that luxury cars last longer than entry models, right? So
depends on the car. Go ahead.
I mean, of course, but can we agree that generally, as a rule,
we'll keep as generally
a luxury car or a top of the line car, even if you get the premium entry model, it's still not going to last as long as a top of the line luxury entry model car.
I'm gonna go with the general on a general sense of form.
All right,
go with that.
So if you choose to make the investment, there is the possibility that this is a good investment because look, I can spend the less money and get the Ford Escort, right? But it requires more repairs. It's not going to last as long. The parts may be cheaper and all of that stuff. Or I can get the Cadillac, which is going to last me, probably an additional 5 years. I don't have to replace the parts as soon. The reason the parts are expensive is because they don't replace them as much. Mm-hmm. If you're replacing things sooner, the stuff is cheap. You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
If that's why mattresses are so expensive. You go out and pay $1,200 for a mattress. Yeah. Let me ask you this: when was the last time you replaced a mattress?
About 5 years ago.
Okay. And has the mattress last?
It's about time for another one.
It's about that, right? But it's 5 years. Yeah. Now, what happened if you had got? And I'm assuming this mattress is the one you sleep on.
Yeah.
So it's quality, right?
Yeah.
You didn't skimp on it, right?
No.
You didn't get the one with the bed springs that go, right? No. You got the one with the coils in it,
right?
And the cushion,
right? And
the memory foam.
Yeah.
You could have got the one with the coils.
True.
But you didn't.
He could have got a purple, but go ahead.
Even purple though is expensive compared to a coil mattress.
Just go ahead though. Yeah.
So there are things that we are willing to spend on. My problem is the judgment that goes with it. Mm-hmm. Both of you have given into my example. We go into Sullivan's. This brother ain't sleeping on coils. All right.
Okay.
Now I'm saying. And I don't know y'all pockets, right? I don't know, but
that's what I was gonna say. Right? We can afford these things,
right? But afford is relative to your situation,
right?
And what your pension is. I may be willing to go into debt for my 7-day cruise vacation, right? I'm willing to do that. All right. Affordable lies in who is the determination of it, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm going into debt, I gotta pay $3,000 to go on my 7-day cruise, but I'm gonna kick it. It benefits my mental health. It benefits my physical health. It's culturally enriching. I get to see people. I get to see the ocean, and I get to see the water, right? These are all things that there's other things that are of value outside of their economic package.
You can say that up into a certain extent. So say you
but who are you to say what that extent?
I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be me.
Okay.
It's gonna be me to tell you. But
go
check this out.
Go ahead.
Okay, you go on a cruise. Say you go to the Bahamas. You go on a nice cruise. You spend a lot of money that you probably don't have. You get on the cruise, can't buy nothing to eat. When you get to the Bahamas,
well, hopefully you got all
inclusive. Right, that's the first thing.
Okay, say that.
So everything you can chew is free. And if it's soda or water, it's free. So all the drinks.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. I guess, but that trip would suck then, right? I mean,
I'm good with that.
If you get off the boat and you walking around Jamaica and you looking at the shops and you can't afford to buy anything,
but there's more to your extent. There's more than just the accumulation. What I'm trying to caution against is the judgment factor. Like our question, and I get it, and I think it's more geared towards, and I get why like the schools want uniforms, right? Because we've all been in situations when we were coming up, the haves and the have-nots.
Right.
It avoids some of those judgments.
Right. That's why I was just about to touch on you.
It makes it uniform, so we know, especially now as it's coming out, mental health is critical. Now, I don't understand why mental health is, well, I do, but that's a topic for another day. But anyway, in order for our kids not to be distracted, if everybody looks the same, nobody can be judged. Like that kid can't be made fun of because he's poor or he lacks or she lacks.
Right.
We're not concerned about the kid who is homeless because, we can always keep uniforms at the school and wash them and always have something there for them, So I get it. I guess like I said, as we move into our adult phases in lives, we don't know people's pockets. We don't know what people's ability to afford pain is. And so I just, as we were talking about this, I just wanted to be cautionary about judgment both ways.
All right. And I'm going to throw some at you, which I open this up with. What if it's a situation, and we've all seen it. You've seen it. Everybody in here seen it. Okay. Where, it could be a friend, a family member, or whatever. Or, We'll just do the family member. And they come up with something brand new. Let's just say we were using cars. So let's say they came with a brand new BMW. All right. Now you, even though this is your cousin, y'all still not that close. You know, you may look at them kind of side-eyed anyway. But you know, some folks go one of two ways. They either go, man, I wonder what they did to get that. Or they're like, hey, cuz, knowing you don't kick it with them. Hey, cuz, this, that. So you get a ride in that BMW. All right. How do we fix those type of situations where we're not doing stuff such as that? Because if you really look at it, one, the first guy, he throwing so much hate that he may be saying that to another cousin or whatever, and then they're starting to judge them.
I mean, personally, I don't judge other people's blessings.
I understand that,
because
but
what may be
you
a
know
blessing,
those type of situations have
I
happened.
do, and I never, you know, begrudge. That's the word I'm looking for. Begrudge anybody in their blessings, because what may be a blessing for them may be a curse for you. You know, sometimes we have to give praise to God, Allah, universe, for the things that we don't get. You know, and so to me, in my mind, if you're jealous of something else that someone else has had,
Yes,
that blessing wasn't meant for you. You know, that blessing. I mean, like my boy, he just got a BMW. He's now he still drive. He only drive the BMW on special occasions. I was like, first of all, that blew my mind. You know, it's like I was like, oh, you out in the Beamer? He's like, no, dude, I'm in my regular car.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, you know, and I've been in his car.
Mm-hmm.
I love his car.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him one day, can I come over and watch movies in his car? Because the sound system is spectacular.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's his blessing. Now, his blessing has inspired me, you know, because I'm like, oh, if he can do it, I can do it.
Well, of course, it should be an inspiration.
It should be, but it should not be an impediment to my happiness. It's,
Right.
I'm happy he has it.
Right.
I'm happy he you know, if we going somewhere, I'd be like, yo, we rolling in the Beamer. Yeah, pick me up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
I think you have to be mindful of that. That's part of mindfulness. You know, like I don't bemoan, you know, you, because some people, like you said, can have the car, but worry about how they're gonna pay their next car note. You know what I'm saying? That I don't, and you know, like I said, I don't eschew status symbols. That's just not my cup of tea. Like my thing is I like comfort.
Okay.
You know, I like comfortable. I like affordable. I don't understand, me personally, and I don't bemoan people who do, paying $120 for jeans. You know, unless they knocking off 10 pounds. Now, if you're knocking off 10 pounds and I'm looking, you know, like a Snicker and I'm snack, you know, I'm a Twizzler now, but you know, you know, if I'm looking like that, then okay, sure. But I just can't pay $120 for jeans. Now I know there are people right now listening like, oh, you crazy, dog. Like a good pair of jeans is a good pair of jeans. Nah, I'm just not that. I'm not cut like that. You know what I'm saying?
Let me piggyback off of what Rich said.
Okay.
So now, say you have the same scenario, right?
Which one?
Where you are judging the family member, either way, like for having the car, for having a nice car.
Okay.
So say that you have a family member that you know doesn't have a job, maybe you know doesn't have a steady income.
Okay.
But they constantly they're coming to you asking for money.
Gotcha.
But you know they have this fancy car.
Yep.
Right. So in that situation, do you judge then?
I judge their ability to handle finances, not the vehicle that they have. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and here's the other thing. Don't lend money if you can't afford to get it back.
But are you lending the money?
I mean, if people come to me, if someone asks me for money and I'm giving it to them, yes, I give it with the expectation of not giving it back.
Right.
You I literally just had a consult where this lady and her guy are going their separate ways, and they're trying to work out some kind of finance.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, so what happens when he don't pay it back? And she was like, oh, why wouldn't he do it? I was like, oh, money, it's not the root of all evil, but what people do with money is. You know what I'm saying? So if I loaned him money, I gave it with the expectation of not giving it back.
Okay.
If he comes to me again and says, or she comes to me again and says, hey, I need some money. Well, now I ain't got it. Now will they know they can suspect or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
But people know when, they've burnt that bridge or, whatever.
Right.
Now,
I'm not paying back. Or
but
whatever.
yeah, and here's the thing too. All of us are either one injury, one paycheck, one illness from poverty. I don't know your income, but I know your income. I don't know your income, but I know your income. We're similarly situated. If something was to happen catastrophic, that will put us on our heels. We just, as the people, we just don't have those resources either. And I know we're way off topic and all of that, but one of the things we have to look at is not only systematic racism, but the lack of being able to accumulate wealth. That is what hinders our ability to participate economically. Black people spend just as much and sometimes more money than Caucasians. But and if you think about it, us three sitting here right now are the first generation of people not encumbered by legal racism. My parents grew up in a segregated South.
Mm-hmm.
My parents did Jim Crow. My parents were in their 20s and 30s when the Civil Rights Act was passed. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we are the first generation that has technically grown up unencumbered. So our parents were already behind the 8 ball. Their parents were already behind the 8 ball. We know, and I'm talking about redlining, the disgorgement of wealth. And you got to even think about our generation. Our generation has been hit economically more harder than the other generations. We've had to deal with the dot-com bust, right? Right when we coming out of college. We've had to deal with the 2006 to 2012 financial crisis. That affected all of us. You know what I'm saying? And our ability to accumulate wealth. And let's not forget the thing we just got done with, the plague. We all just got done with that. Right. So even though we are not encumbered by legal and technical racism, look at the economic factors that have impacted our lives and our ability to accumulate wealth and our ability to pass on wealth to our children. You know what I'm saying? Let's also not think about how our dollar is lesser than what our parents were. We talked about this.
Yes.
Our parents' abilities to do things like go on that thing. What's that called when you leave work and don't have to come back for a week? What's that called?
Vacation.
That was stuff that our parents could do. Ideally, for all three of us, one parent could technically work.
Right.
Technically, right? All of us, one parent could technically work, and that would be okay. And one parent could stay at home if they wanted to,
right.
And we would be still considered solidly middle class. Mm-hmm. What happened if our spouses ain't working right now?
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Even though we are technically right now at the age we are at the height of our earning power.
Yes.
You know, and let's not forget, we are the first generation where technically, especially as it relates to Black people and African Americans, where our women folk make more than the men folk. They're more educated than we are. You know?
Yeah.
So I say this all as a cautionary tale. There's nothing wrong with the accumulation of accoutrements that reflect your desires to a point.
Okay.
To a point. When it gets to a point where, yes, you are deciding between mortgage and the Louis Vuitton bag, what's the shoes with the red bottoms? Help me out.
I can't tell you.
See, y'all. Hey, Facebook, internet, y'all know who I'm talking about. Yeah, the shoes with the red bottoms.
I don't,
you know,
I don't
and
Jimmy
put it.
Choo, I think, ain't it something like that?
I'm not even gonna risk it because we'll get rolled. Like, how they
Hey,
don't know what the shoes are?
It is
Yeah.
what it is in my book.
Yeah,
man.
they gonna say
You know
the
what
name
I'm
of the show
saying?
should be Three Broke Negroes. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, and I get it. Like we hear, that is our comment. We are not, those people who seek that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And more power to the people.
But taking what you just said and tying it into the topic. Now, was there not in the time where of the legal racism and all that, even on the level of slavery, we can even go back to that point where that those who were doing the oppressing, one of the things that they would do would separate everybody through a certain class, just like it used to be the field and the house. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You can even go down the line with a couple of different things of separation, which kept the issues between each other where they could not grow, or at least it slowed down the growth at that time.
That's always been a tool of the oppressor.
Right. So, and that's what I'm saying is that some of these status symbols that we have that really, if you look at it, on some things ain't worth it.
I mean, here's what I'll say, because I know we're coming to the top of the hour.
Mm-hmm.
Is it all of these things that we wear? I don't think Nike is named after anybody. Mercedes is. Ferragamo is named after somebody. And I'm gonna just put it out there. Gordon Cartrell. From the Cosby Show. The sweater. And that's what go to. Yeah. Because that show is symbolic of our discussion. The Gordon Cartrell. And Denise said, I can make the sweater. The Gordon Cartrell sweater, and you see what she made.
Well, apparently she couldn't make it.
Right.
Go ahead.
These are all names. I'd rather have somebody wearing my name than to wear someone else's. So, I don't want to wear Perry Ellis. I want to wear Michael B's. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put Reeboks on. I want to wear the Richard K's. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing wrong with it, but also keep an eye towards you becoming your own brand. You know what I'm saying? Like you saying, coming up, we all know For Us, By Us, and how they stormed and then they kind of fell off, but Perry Ellis is still around. Izod is still around. So status symbols change, and it's just ingrained in us. And what I'm saying is, let's eschew that judgment on both parts. Okay. Judgment based on what we think somebody should have, and judgment based on what other people have. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
And I think that another thing that it has to do with patience. Like, how long can you wait to get the things that you want? And do you have the expectations in life to be able to afford these things later on? Like, if you're going to college, right, you're pretty much going to be broke, but your potential to make money later is going to be
broke.
You're
still gonna be broke.
It depends on what you major in. It
student
depends
loans
on
gonna make you broke.
It depends on different factors.
Yeah, those student loans, you still and we can talk about
you can do it a certain way sometimes that you won't be so broke. But
I'm glad. I think we should say that for a topic. Is college an end all to be all? Or should we start saying college not only isn't college for everybody, and I'm sorry, y'all, we jump in topics, but we're gonna be talking about this. Is college for, not only is college for everybody, but is college a true path to upper class? I saw a meme that says, wait a minute, you want me to take out money to go make more money to pay back my money? You know what I'm saying? So I think we need to talk about that.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, that's the show for this week. You know, if you got any comments, any thoughts with it, you can always hit us up by email, the triple threat of radio at gmail.com. Once again, that is the triple threat of radio at gmail.com. All right.
Or in our Elevated Vibe Facebook page. We
can always do that. Yeah. You can
always
do that.
You know,
That's
and
never a problem at all. All right. Now, my last going out of here just to say, and I'll let you brothers do what you if you wish to do it. I'm gonna go back to my old one, y'all, and it's plain and simple. Let's not strive to be great amongst men. Let's strive to be great along those of another plane. Go ahead, brother.
I'm gonna take a small moment, and I just want to say, be careful of the news you receive, the perception, the lens that you're viewing news through. Earlier today, I stepped on the scale, and the numbers were up, and I was really sad. Because as Rich knows, weight has always been an issue for me. But anyway, the trainer came over and looked at my numbers, and he had a different perspective. He was like, "No, Mike, your numbers are good. You've put on muscle mass. That's why your numbers are up. You've added muscle, and you actually lost fat." So his perception was the accurate one. Mine wasn't. So just as a cautionary tale, be careful of the lens that which you perceive your news.
Yep. And I guess my advice for today is to just be patient. Don't worry about what other people have. And focus on yourself and your ability to do things great. That's all I got.
All right, this is Elevated Vibes. We will catch y'all next week.
Peace.